Hey, everybody. I am Stacey Thomas, your host tonight for What's Going On. And we are on the platform called Swag Her. There's no space. There's no space. When you Google it, no space. SWAGHER. And tonight we have a very special guest. Her name is Laurinda, right? She says I can call her Lala. Hey,
Hey,
how
how
are
you?
you?
I am well. How about yourself?
I am great. I mentioned to you early. Well, first, let me say thank you for joining the Swag Her platform. Okay.
Thank you for having me, Swagger. We've been down like four flats from the beginning of time. So hey, I love,
Really? Full
I
fledged.
love Swagger. I love Jarmel and Francie.
Oh wow. You know what? I gotta say this. They had this thing for media personalities, right?
Mm-hmm.
PR person sent it to me, and I was like, nah, look at that platform. Then they said, send a video of yourself. And I've just learned, accept me for who I am. I'm sorry. There's no putting on airs. There's no bouginess. So I did the video, and the next thing I know, Fancy and Jarmel got Stacy on Swag, her platform.
Oh, welcome to the family. There's no leaving.
Thank you, sweetheart. I usually don't say give me time and ask the guest to give me a moment, but I've gotta say a few things about you, okay?
Okay.
Because I know we won't be able to touch on all the things that have made you such a nationally known individual. So I'll just try to, let's say, Laurinda is a member of the Nasdaq's Milestone Circle, a graduate of who
Huzanga?
Zanga School of Executive Leadership and the Disney Leadership Institute. She is also certified in grief recovery, HIPAA, Achieve Global, Youth Mental Health, First Aid, Trauma Insight, and is certified John Maxwell team member and coach. Possessing a tremendous ability to connect with an array of audiences from all demographics, educational, and socioeconomic statuses, Laurinda is often recognized by exclusive platforms for her outstanding contributions, such as the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, the National Diversity Council, Barry University, and many others. Laurinda has been featured. Look at you. It's a wonder you ain't on here acting bougie. Laurinda has been featured in more than 20 magazines, including Swag Her, Fashion GXD, Medium, Mogul, US Weekly, and New York Business Now. She's been featured on NBC 33, Fox 44, KEBN Radio 94.1, The Max, and in New York Times Square while maintaining, we're going to talk about this, a 30-day Texas radio syndication for her book, She Blinked. She is currently on her 8th book. Sister, I am so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're going to start with, who are you? Like, kudos to everything you've accomplished and that you are accomplishing and that you will accomplish. Who is Laurinda? Tell me about Laurinda when maybe she was in high school at an age. Did she know who she really would be?
No, not at all. Let me tell you something. I was the child that got along with everybody, but never fit in with anyone. I was, I was the person that you'd see with the combat boots on, with the ripped jeans, the t-shirt, my hair, like the Madonna swag hair. I was totally different. And people were like, she cool, but she weird. So I was, and I always been a weirdo. That's the thing. But I never really knew who I was because I had been through so many tumultuous experiences as a kid. I've been through trauma, and I'm not afraid to talk about it because now I'm going from survivor to thriver. And so I am no longer a victim. I'm actually a survivor. And actually, talking to my therapist last night, that's one of the things that we talked about, how I shifted from one category to the next. But in high school, I was in the choir, I was in ROTC, I was on the rifle team, I was on the yearbook staff. Yeah, I did a little bit of everything.
So, okay, so this isn't new to you doing so many things, right?
Not really.
Wow. So when you say you went through trauma
Hmm.
and you transitioned into a survivor, right?
Yes.
Is that something when you decided to transition, was that a decision you made because you recognized you needed it, or did you have people like family members and friends telling you needed to do it?
No, I'm gonna tell you who did it. It was God. So if God offends anyone on here,
Don't worry
sorry,
about
not
it.
sorry.
Okay.
But so I used to go around the person that molested me to make them feel uncomfortable because I was so hurt. I wanted them to hurt the way that I hurt. And so God spoke to me one moment and he said, "How dare you go around this person to make them feel bad? You're holding on to forgiveness for that person and holding up their healing like it's your birthright to hold it." And he said, "Do you know what this person has gone through? I need you to start looking at stuff through their lenses." That's when it started. Because when I saw that person cry, and I'm going to tell you who it was my father. And so I gave him his first Father's Day card and he started crying and God started dealing with that. So till this day, me and my dad can have a conversations like you and I are having. We can hug each other, tell each other we love him, and we mean it. We're genuine about it. And so and he apologized to me on a Thanksgiving. So I've experienced in my lifetime what most people will never see. And that allowed me to heal because I was not knowing I was being obedient to God in that situation, but I was being obedient at 17 years old when I had that conversation with my dad, and God switched my heart and he showed me that who am I? Who am I? If I want forgiveness from people, I got to extend that same grace to others. So that's the moment that I knew. And then I really didn't even know then because that was just the beginning of the transformation.
That is so powerful what you just said. I trust in God. I believe in God. I know that I need God, right?
Mm-hmm.
I find myself not going through anything like that, but you make me feel foolish like what you've gone through. I've got the nerve to get mad and have a problem forgiving people for certain other things. But it's in my life, I have found that hurt, I've had to go to God to say, help me forgive because I can't do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
You are just freaking amazing. And just tell how God spoke to you. And sweetheart, that's a blessing all. And do we need to do any more? No, I'm only kidding. You know, it takes a strong person. So I guess this is explaining a lot about the things that you're doing now. You've built a career at the intersection of leadership, personal development, and creativity. What sparked this?
So I first started journaling and I started writing poetry because I found it as a means of escape. When I tell you, I have been blessed to meet some amazing individuals in my lifetime that God used as catalyst for the change in my life. So in that same small town that, I grew up in, I got the chance to meet the Mr. Bo Diddley, which asked me to sing for him. And I was afraid to sing for him. And I was afraid to go to his recording studio because my trauma kept me where I was in that struggle. And I thought he was going to do something to me, and I didn't know who he was and the scope of his influence at that time. The other thing that kind of influenced my creativity and brought all that together was the fact that when I was in high school, my high school English teacher took myself and two other ladies, Simone and Michelle, to see the late, great Maya Angelou. And Maya Angelou recited, "I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings." And when she recited that, I was like, man, it's okay. I can tell somebody what happened to me. And she had to leave because her mother was sick at the time. So I never really got to tell her why she connected with me and why I understood what she was talking about. But then I started writing poetry. And I mean, when it started flowing out of me, like I could write 14 to 20 poems in one night. And I just get downloads and downloads. And then I just started writing and people would read it and they were like, I'm reading my life in this poetry. I'm reading my life in this, what you wrote here. You need to finish that. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Nobody's going to want to read that. And the enemy will do that to you. He will tell you there's no significance, but everything that happened to me was drawing out the creativity in me. And if you look at any creative, I bet you 9 times out of 10, if you look at any creative, they have gone through some stuff. They have gone through some dark times. And so that creativity comes from healing. Physician, heal thyself. That's where it comes from, the journaling. So that's where the intersection of healing to leadership and all of the creativity kind of merged for me, because it just came out of the necessity for me to get some stuff off my chest, because, you know, you can't tell everybody everything. Some people get a lot spiritual, and I got pastors on both sides of my family, grandparents. And so I understand being in church 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days. But there's some things that we do and say spiritually that don't necessarily heal people the way that God wants them to be healed. So, but when you put your creativity, the outpouring of everything that was inside me, that's where it came from. I had to learn personal leadership through the trauma and things that I've gone through to be a professional leadership developer in others, and to see the things in them that they necessarily don't see in themselves.
So when you're helping other people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And other people come to you telling you their stories,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't trigger you to a point that maybe you question yourself whether you should be doing this?
Sometimes. And in those times, and I'm gonna tell you, it's not me, it's God, because He gives me strength to do everything. But there are moments that I do feel overwhelmed, that I'll tell the person, hey, I'm not the right person to talk to you at this time, but let me let you talk to somebody else. Because I had a friend that went through an experience just, the beginning of last month. She lost somebody very near and dear to her. But November for me is my daughter's death anniversary. December is my mother's death anniversary. So I because I love this person so much, and I know what it was felt like to go through some experiences and not have the support system that you need, there was no way that I could watch her go through that. Even though I was struggling, even though I was going through things, I could not watch her go through that alone, because I knew how detrimental it can be to somebody's psyche, their mental well-being, and their health. So God gave me the strength to be with her. And then the moments that I couldn't be there, I say, babe, I know I've been MIA, I've been missing in action, but I got some things that I'm trying to work through. And I promise you, I'll be there for this, I'll be there for that. And God gave me the strength to be there in those moments that I needed to be there. But I had to recognize in myself, hey, this is triggering you. You're losing sleep. You can't focus. You're not being any help to anybody else. And I don't want you bleeding on somebody else. So I need you to sit this one out. But be honest with that person and say, you know what, I'm going to sit this one out, but call me if you need me. Text me if you need me. I'm right here. And then just checking on that person every single day, several times a day, because I know, I'm gonna tell you something. When you know what people go through, when you've been through it yourself, it's a different kind of way that you move in situations like that. So yes, I do have to sit things out. I do have to be mindful of that, because I don't want my triggers, my traumas to derail somebody else's healing. So you gotta know when you've had enough. You gotta know your limits, and you have to be honest, because we're not saviors.
Right, right. I try to tell my son that who's dealt with some drug issues himself.
Mm-hmm.
You get clean and you're worried about everybody else. I said sometimes you got to recognize what will trigger you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know you if you would agree with this. And I said sometimes, like a friend of mine said, you can't join someone's mess, but you can pray them through their mess.
Mm-hmm.
If it gets to a point that it starts to trigger you.
Yes.
But I love how you stress that when you lean on God, God gives you all that you need.
Mm-hmm.
You are truly favored, sweetheart. You are truly favored. And hearing stories like yours, I understand what favored means more and more. And many people struggle to be honest about their current disposition or their current ways, right?
Mhm.
And as you put it, but what does it mean to you to truly submit to your own truth?
To love yourself no matter what, the good, the bad, the ugly. Knowing that everything that we went through is shaped us for whatever we're going to be walking into, and we have to be ready to realize that, and just acknowledging your feelings and talking to God along the way, because I done told God a lot. I feel like, bruh, you tripping. I don't like this. I don't like feeling like this. And if you want me to do this, you need to help me with this part of me. You need to heal this part of me. You need to sustain me through this. And I challenge God. I challenge God in a lot of situations that I've been going through. And people are like, you're not supposed to challenge God. I say, whose God are you serving? Because I challenge my God and I talk to my God. For instance, I remember when I was pregnant with my daughter, and they told me she was a trisomy 18 pregnancy, which means that if any chromosome is impacted, it cannot be the 18th chromosome, because that affects every system in your body: nervous, respiratory, circulatory system, everything. And so when she was being formed, an extra chromosome, piece of a chromosome, attached itself to her 18th chromosome. And Down syndrome babies are 13 chromosome is impacted. But with her, so she would have been severely mentally retarded. Her heart was not formed. She only had the chambers of her heart. There was a hole in between, so the blood was just flowing from one side to the other. It wasn't pumping right. Her lungs weren't fully formed. When I gave birth to her at 9 months, she was only 2 pounds 15 ounces. And so it was the water and the pressure of the water that kept her alive in my stomach for that long. But I said all that to say that they called me up to Gainesville and told me that they needed to do, because they did an amniocentesis, and because I was older pregnancy, and they did an amnio and said that the test came back and they needed to check me out. So they confirmed that she was trisomy 18, and they gave me two choices. We can, we can put you into labor and you can hold her until she dies, or you can carry her 9 months and she's going to die. Those were my two choices. And so I I was like in a whirlwind. I didn't know what was going on, but my mom lived in Clearwater, and at that time she was driving up to Gainesville, which was a 2.5 hour drive. It seemed like she got there in no time. But I looked out at the window. It was a bright, shiny, sunshiny day. And I looked at the sky and I said, God, if it's meant for me to leave here with this baby in my stomach, if it's meant for me to have her, I need you to make it rain right now. I promise you, on everything I owe, everything I love. A rain cloud came and stopped in front of that window. It rained about 5 minutes. 5 is the number of grace. And then it stopped. The next thing I know, my mom was walking up the stairs to come get me, to take me home.
Laurinda, I thought we were going to laugh a lot.
Yeah, we still can laugh, because there's joy in that. I can have these conversations now and not feel bad about it. That's the beauty of healing. That's the beauty of understanding your emotions and allowing yourself to walk through grief, because we all are a nation of grievers. We have to grieve something. Some of us grieve more than others because God has a different path for us, right? So, and I can smile in that, knowing that I had that moment where I can hold her. I held her. They actually, when the coroner came and got her, he didn't put her in a box. He wrapped her up in a blanket and carried her out with dignity. I can laugh and I can smile at those moments because I knew God was with me every step of the way, even though I didn't feel it in that moment. And I survived that. I can have compassion for the mother that is going through something like that with a loss. I can have compassion so we can have joy in that. And I didn't always have joy. Last week probably looked a little bit different for me, but it's day by day, second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour, week by week, month by month.
That's part of why I said that I wanted to see what you're going to say. Like, everybody doesn't understand. Thank you. Everybody doesn't understand that even through storms,
Mhm.
we will be blessed.
Yes, ma'am.
Even after storms, we look back and know that we were blessed.
Mhm.
And for you to tell your story and still standing, It's amazing. It truly is. So you've gone through your own grief, you've gone through your own trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And I get writing and I get journaling. And I, as a writer myself, I know that writing helps and journaling helps.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. Do you see yourself continuing to coach others, to help others, or do you ever feel like I'm a little tired now? Maybe I need to just take a break?
Sometimes I say yes, I need to take a break, and sometimes the break takes me. So you either gonna take it on your own, or God gonna say, "Sit down now." But I cannot. Nobody can come to me and say, "Lala, I want to do this," and I say, "Oh no, you're gonna have to do it now." I'm gonna be on you like white on rice. There, you can't come to me and say you have a passion or a desire in you to do something, and we don't work for it. The caveat to that, the other piece to that though, if I'm trying to help you, and you're not helping yourself, if you just want to bring a problem to me and go on and have a good day, I'm gonna leave you at where you at until you get ready
Right,
to be where you need to
right,
be. That's like
right.
somebody that comes to you with a situation and say, will you pray for me? The first thing I'm gonna ask them, did you pray for yourself?
Did you pray for yourself, and while you expecting God to work, are you doing your part?
Exactly, because people will do that to you. People will bring you their problems and not own it. So, but what that has taught me when coaching people, when developing people, when training people, if they're not willing to own their issues, their problems, the solution, they're not going to own the results, and we can't own that for them. So if I see, I'm not going to spend my emotional currency on someone that doesn't see the value in themselves. I'm not going to cast my pearls before swine. I'm not going to sow into soil that is not fertile. I'm not going to do that. I've done that for so long, and I ended up carrying other people's stuff. And I don't believe in astrology at all, but I am a Pisces from heart, by heart, right? We have
Okay.
a lot of empathy. We feel people's emotions. We carry that and we take that on. I can't afford to do that, because if I do that, which as somebody that struggles with mental health challenges, suicidal ideations, if I carry your burdens, I might die. So I have learned that sometimes there needs to be a hard stop when dealing with people that don't want to take responsibility and accountability for their actions. I can't let you take me down with you. I can pray for you, I can give you resources, but if you don't want to use what's in front of you, everybody has a choice. I had a choice to either lay down, stay in the muck, and be a victim. For a long time, I was a victim because people were telling me I was a victim, and I believed that. And so that kind of stifled my growth. It stifled my growth. Once I stopped allowing people to label me as a victim, as you poor baby and this and that, and I stood 10 toes down and said, you know what? I can't control what happens to me, but I can control the way that I react to these things, and keep reminding myself to that. I'm not responsible for any of the things that happen to me. I am responsible to how I allow it to impact me going forward. And that's what people need to understand. And if I'm coaching or training or developing somebody that just wants to sit down while I do the work, baby, no, we're not going to do that. We don't do that over here. And I'm going to have a tough conversation with you. One of my friends, Donna, said to me one time, she says, when Lala say this is coming from a place of love,
Uh-huh.
she say, hold the brakes, hold the seat, because it's about to be a bumpy ride.
Got
So
to
I was
be
like,
on.
am I that bad? She was like, no, but and it's beautiful to see people blossom and be in their own skin and love their own skin. And I think that's the reason that I really do things, because I wish I had somebody when I needed somebody.
Right. Well, you know what? Some people use as as an excuse. Oh, man up, woman up. I didn't have nobody. You can get through it. Blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
It's something how when people need help,
Mhm.
when people are grieving. I mean, I've heard this before. Um, my son, a couple family, my mother passed, his uncle passed, and months went past, and he's still showing signs of grievement. And in
Mhm.
the black community, black men don't want to see other black men cry. And the first thing some black men will tell other black men is get over it,
Mhm.
move on. And they don't realize how hard it can be.
Mhm. First of all, move on from what? If I don't know what I'm dealing with, if I can't put a name to what I'm feeling, I can't put a name to what I'm going, where am I moving to? From what?
Right, right. As you've traveled and you've been speaking nationally, right?
Mhm.
Among all the people that you encounter, what is the most universal mental health need that you see more than anything? Like,
Oh,
what's affecting when you run across people?
I think abandonment issues cause a lot of issues for people. Like abandonment and the fact that maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I lost a mother. Maybe my father wasn't in the home. Maybe I was put up for adoption. Why me? Maybe you didn't love me like you love my other sibling, because there are no favorite, but there clearly are favorites in the family. So people with losing somebody, dating somebody, they left you and you internalizing the things that they did to you, internalizing the things that our parents did to us. There was no rule book on parenting. There was no real rule book outside of the Bible on dating or anything. So when people do things to us, we start internalizing the things that they're doing, but it's not a reflection of us. In some cases, sometimes our own selves is our undoing. But a lot of people can't love or be loved or accept love because we're just perpetuating cycles that others have gone through. Whether it's what goes on this house stays in this house mentality, that causes a lot of trauma. Um, or just people not having belief in who they are or what they are, or thinking that they're an afterthought, just not feeling love. The greatest gift, the greatest thing above all else, we love our neighbors as we love ourselves. But if we don't love ourselves, that's going to cause some abandonment issues. So if somebody leaves me, I don't love myself enough to say, you know what, that's their problem, it's not my problem.
Right,
So I
right.
see that a lot. When you talk to people, it always stems back to somebody that left them, or they had the thought that they were not good enough because somebody was leaving them. We don't have the thought to say, you know what, I'm not leaving you because you did something wrong. We're just not a great fit for each other, or we just don't mesh, and we're hurting each other more than we're helping each other. It's not you. There's some things that I need to work on. And I recognize that in myself, that every relationship that I went through, it wasn't always necessarily somebody else's fault. It was my sense of abandonment. So they're going to leave me, they're too good for me, so let me leave them before they leave me, or let me cut up or do something wrong before they dismiss me. And I've had a lot of abandonment issues that I dealt with, and just that causes grief. Even if you get rejected, I rather say it's rejection from a job, rejection from a promotion, rejection from a friend circle in high school, being the odd person out, not being able to be yourself. That's a lot of things that cause grief, trauma, hurt, lingering pain, on top of everything else that we deal with. I guarantee everybody's dealt with some type of rejection in their life or a sense of abandonment.
Right. You know, if someone wasn't expecting themselves to go get the book or one of your books, this interview makes one want to see the books. She Blinked, your eighth book. Can you tell us something about it, please?
Okay. So She Blinked was actually the first book. But the book is actually my autobiography mixed with poetry, of course. Maya Angelou inspired that. And like real life things that I saw, things that I got inspiration from, like Fantasy Island. I don't know if you remember Fantasy Island with Mr. Rourke with his poem self. So one of the things that I took from that I merged all of that. That's one thing that God is so, I bless him for that gift to merge everything together for me. But real quick, so I was talking about how, people were paying $50,000 in the 70s to go and spend 3 days on Fantasy Island.
Right, right.
And so this one girl, she had grew up and she was orphaned and she got burned in a house fire. Her family died and her face was scarred. Her body was scarred. She went to Fantasy Island because her probation officer sent her there as a gift. And so her gift was to be beautiful and to have her scars removed. And I remember this episode so vividly because she was angry. She was mad at the world. Now she hated herself. She couldn't be alone with herself. She didn't love her appearance inside or out. And Mr. Rourke told her, I can remove your scars, right? And I can make you beautiful. He says, but in that story, I learned that I would rather have my outside scars be visible and not and deal with the scars in the inside. That is where my true beauty lies. So instead of being able to keep that beautiful appearance on the outside, she learned to love herself even with the scars. And I said, I'd rather live with a scarred outer man than live with a scarred inner man. And so those are like some of the stories that I tell, and I relate that to my life and growing up. I had so many scars inward, and it impacted my outward appearance of myself. You couldn't tell me that I was beautiful or anything else because all I saw was the molestation, the bullying, the hurt, the wasn't good enough, everything that went wrong, the rejection, everything that went wrong is what I used to dwell on as a kid and being a victim. And so once, I started dealing with that and God opened my eyes, because he's going to open your eyes to all the stuff that you go through in perfect timing when you're strong enough to deal with it. It's like the brain. When you go through trauma, you forget things, it'll shut it. And it's a protection mechanism for you. That's what the brain does. A beautiful machine is the brain. And it protects us from so many things. But when it's time for you to be revealed, that means you were strong enough for that moment and just to keep walking. So that's kind of what my book is. It talks about my trauma. It talks about some of the things I went through, the poetry that was born from those moments in time, the things in life like the Cosby Show and all the shows that I saw that shaped me and formed me as a child.
Lala, you're quite interesting. Quite interesting.
I'm a weirdo. I'm okay.
So, the books, including Blink. She Blinks. You said that was the first one. I'm sorry, I thought it was the 8th one. Are they on Amazon? Where are they at?
They are on Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
So you have a love for books. So what's going on with? I read about Library Club. The
Books and Brunch. Yeah.
What's going on?
Books and Brunch Book Club. So every third Saturday, I told you I love people. I love bringing authors in and helping people become authors and all that stuff. So we were blessed by the Northwest Branch Library in Pompano, Florida, that's close to Fort Lauderdale, to come in, and they signed a year contract with me to come in to host a monthly book club. And so we come in and we do it we call it lunch and learn. So we read the book and we give everybody a chapter, and they have to teach that chapter to us, and we're discussing the book in a lunch and learn type of section. So yes, because I'm also a talent development by heart. I worked for the world's largest retailer, and I was in talent development, and I trained the managers, the store managers, the agents, the associates and I was with them for 27 years. So talent development is something that is near and dear to me. So I have merged my passion for writing with the John Maxwell team as a leadership coach. And we take the authors in and we bring their books in and we read their books together. We break it down. I have the different authors speak. And tomorrow we're having a Books and Brunch book club. We have David Bronson, who was accepted into the NFL, but he chose to stay with his son. He's going to be there, and we're finishing off his book. And we have JT Leith that was in prison for 5 years, and he wrote 8 books. And he's going to be there talking about his story. So it's not your mama's book club. We talk about healing. We talk about trauma. We talk about deliverance. We talk about personal and professional development and leadership. We teach people how to become authors. My publisher is actually coming in February to teach people how to publish their books. So we have a lot of great things going on with the library, and not including our book club that happens monthly. they have opened the doors for each month. We do 2 or 3 other programs. We're doing a Lift Every Voice and Sing, where we're teaching people the beauty of creative writing. We're doing Good Hair, where we teach people self-love and loving the skin you're in, embracing your beauty no matter who you are. We have Visions and Vibes that'll come back in honor of suicide prevention and mental awareness. That's our annual event. We just wrapped up our first one, and we had so much fun. And then we have Strike a Prose, which I'm super excited about, teaching people about poetry, writing poetry, and different things like that. So shout out to Karen Williams of the Northwest Branch Library in Pompano, Florida, for opening your doors to me. I'm super excited, and I love you to life.
Look at that smile.
Yes.
Lala, are they all in person or any ever virtual?
So right now we're all in person, but I'm in the process of getting an owl. If somebody wants to donate an owl, you go ahead, because these events are free for people. But I'm going to get the equipment that we can do virtual events as well within the library, because a lot of people are asking. They're in different states and they're like, hey, I want to attend your thing and I want to come. And so it'll give the other authors an opportunity to do a brunch and learn virtually. So that's something that we're looking into doing, but it's soon come.
Books and Brunch Book Club. So you said you have a contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't sound like this is meant to be short term. Where do you see this going, or where do you hope this leads to for the community?
You know, I want more people to get in the habit of reading and seeing the joy of reading. And the biggest thing is not just the reading. I want people to take their story and get it into print. I want people to know the power of their story can change a nation. Right. I want them to dispel stereotypes. I want them to see how beautiful and brilliant this color is, and how our minds work, and how we're not an afterthought. I want people to know they were fearfully and wonderfully made. And they built pyramids, and they grew civilizations. They birthed nations out of their body. I want people to wake up and see how amazing they are. If we can tap into that, that's what I want the community to see. I want them to see the beauty in us again.
You know what? Swag Her did good connecting me with you. Now I can follow you and I can smile, because you just remind me of, like, not everybody understands that it's okay to smile even after storms.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are just blessing other individuals. I look forward to seeing posts on social media about virtual event out of Pompano, Florida, led by Lala. Sweetheart, how do we follow you? If someone in Florida or someone outside of Florida wants to talk to you, learn how they can bring what you're doing in Pompano, Florida to where they are, how do they reach you?
Okay, so I'm going to end this stream. Do I have the autonomy to drop my business phone number?
Yes. Well, we can put it on here. Let me see.
I have to actually look it up. I know it's don't know what
I don't know how. Well,
I'll put it on your Facebook page for you to share.
Yes, put it on my Facebook page, or we can put it in the comments. What's the number?
I'll have to look it up, because it's an 866 number, and I can't remember it right now.
Then come back, put your information under the video.
But they can find me on LinkedIn under Laurinda Andujar. They can find me on Facebook. I have 3 pages: Laurinda Andujar, Laurinda Andujar author. She blinked. Heal the City Inc. They can find me on IG as I am Laurinda Andujar. They can find me on YouTube. I need to get more active with that. I'm sorry, y'all. Don't crucify me. They can find me on the Wisdom app. They can Google me. I do come up.
The Wisdom app.
Yes. So Wisdom app is an app where people that speak, orators, coaches, they go on and they hold little chats, and
and you're on it?
Yes, I'm a top mentor for Wisdom.
That's right. That was in your bio. It's been great, Lala. you know, and remind me again, just remind me again, because I try to tell people about Swagger, right? When I
Mm-hmm.
go to events, I try to convince these strong sisters, listen, there's someone you can connect with that can help you promote yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Tell them about the women that I've encountered. And look, I've met Lala. Lala, for those that are watching, help a sister out. Connect with
Let me tell you
Swagger.
something. I think it was 2017. Since 2017, I have been dealing with Swagger. And I'm going to tell you something. They are so genuine. They are so unique. They are caring. They are like family. There's nothing that I would not do for them. So much so that anytime that I have a magazine interview, their name gets mentioned.
Really?
Their names gets mentioned. Look up any interview that I've done. You'll see Swagger Magazine listed on there. You'll see Francie and Jarmel listed on there because they're family. And people like, well, they charge you to this. Okay, if you go to the
It's a
store, aren't you gonna
business.
pay? It's a
Thank you.
business. Me
Thank
telling somebody that they charge too much or whatever, is like telling them that their family does not deserve to eat for the day.
you. Right.
So
Right.
why would I expect people to pay full price for my stuff? Why would I go and shortchange somebody else? I love Swagger, and there's so many things that I have never come out of the pocket for with Swagger Magazine. I don't know what I have done to earn the favor of them, but I bless God for them. And there's nothing that they can't ask for that I won't give them, because there are so many doors that have been open, so many connections that have been open. They are genuine. They don't backdoor you. They don't slice you out of anything. They're not shisty. And you can't say that with a lot of people in business
Right.
these days, because so
Right.
many people are out for self. But I can't tell you how many emails or pings that I got. Hey, Lala, send me your bio, send me your pic, fill out this form, do this and that. And next thing I know, I got an article or something up, and I didn't pay 1 red cent. Not saying that I love them because they do all these things. They're so valuable that there's some things that money can't buy. And every opportunity that they just throw it at me. That's how God just, I don't know what God sees, that he allows me to have people like Swagger in my life that just so into me without a want of anything.
I
They're
told
such
you, Lala, a few minutes
selfless
ago. It's
givers.
that favor he got over you. Sweetheart, it's been great.
Thank you. It's been amazing speaking to you. And you know what? This not the end of us.
I
Just
picked
know
up,
that.
I started drinking my tea, and I said, wait a minute, Stacy, this ain't no conversation you having on a telephone. Leave the cup down. Take care of
Good.
yourself, beautiful.
Thank you. Likewise.
Have a
Thank
great
you for
one.
having me.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.